Hey guys, I'm Ash.
And I'm Pete.
We're two friends with a combo of 7 kids ranging from toddlers to 20s and 2 crazy husbands.
Our paths were not easy. With childhood battle wounds, divorce, second marriages and all, we somehow found each other. And together we talk real life, laugh, cry, and figure out how to survive the day.
Music is by Dustbowl Champion. To hear Dustbowl Champion's newest hits, search Dustbowl Champion on Spotify.
Hey guys, it's
Hey.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
We're back, everyone.
back.
I just had a pepper in my tooth.
That's
and
why I
so,
came on laughing.
yes, we had to stop recording to re-record the intro because I had giant pepper in my tooth.
Yes. Hi, P. How's it going?
It's good.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're recording outside today because I still have a house full of people from Thanksgiving. Really, it's getting lesser and lesser by the hour.
Yeah.
But
But then it increased.
a little
There's one
bit.
left.
Yes. So this weekend last week was Thanksgiving, and it was our first Thanksgiving in Vegas. Thanksgiving in Vegas.
Well, you say that like all of these people have been following
I
along.
know. Okay, so where should we begin?
Ooh, it probably would have been great if we knew
Where we stopped?
we ended.
We may have to recap a little bit more just to go all the way back. But Ash and P took a break because basically my real job, my day job, was really just becoming so much last year. I mean, as time has gone on with it, which I really did love my job, it just like the responsibility just kept growing and growing and growing. And I just felt like I didn't have enough space for every single thing that I wanted to do.
Right.
And I was, trying to figure out my balance with my kids, work, my husband. At the same time, my husband was basically having these talks about moving. And I think that when you're under a lot of stress, it's like there's kind of two parts to it. One is like, I don't even have time to think about anything like that. Like, we just are like in the thick of it right now. And let's also say this though. I was excelling in my career.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in my pay, but in my career. And I was really thriving in what I was doing. I just was burning both ends of the stick doing it. Like, it was a lot. And a lot of it was, I always put pressure on myself. That's just the kind of person I am. It's like, I can just take it on. I can take it on. I don't ever back down from someone saying, can you do something? I'm always the one to go, yeah, I can do it. And I'm going, oh my gosh, what did I sign up for? But I was trying to be all the things. He's talking about moving. Then let's like kind of go into this time last year. I was at the complete max capacity stress that I've probably been under maybe ever, like definitely ever, like on a whole life scale. I definitely had those downs when it was like in my previous marriage, when I was single and I was going through things with my family. I definitely had those downs, but to have the stress of, I really felt like I'm going to have a mental breakdown.
Mhm.
Like, this is so much. And I knew that the end result was only going to be like how good I felt, because I don't know that everyone still really saw everything I was doing. And that meant that I wasn't really there was only so far I was going to go in my career.
Right.
And in the back of my head, I had always had different plans on what I wanted to do. But it's hard to take a risk on yourself and it's hard to make big changes. And so let's skip ahead a few months. And I just was like, I told my husband, we came out to Vegas for a company Christmas dinner that he had. And he's like, what are your thoughts? We went around the area and I just said, I just don't know. My whole life is back, at home and my family, my friends, and we have such a strong core of friends and family. And I'm like, you're asking me to leave my career. Like, it's all of these things. And we can get all into that as it goes on. But basically, after months and months and months of praying and figuring things out, finding a school that I loved for my children, continuously coming out and visiting the area, we made the decision to go ahead and move out here. So we moved out in the best time of year to move to Vegas.
Yeah.
Not. Moved out in July, middle of July. They had just come off of a 2-week heat wave of 120 plus. And so they were only down to like 115, 118 at the time. And we U-Haul ourselves up and move our family out here. And so we've been out here for about 4.5 months. And we just celebrated Thanksgiving with our family all here. We had some family that couldn't make it, of course, but it was a good chunk of my family and Ash and her family. And you even got one of your daughters to come out, which was huge. And of course, Tristan came home from college for the weekend or the week. And we have a niece that lives here now. And so she got to have Thanksgiving here with her family, which was, super
nice.
Special.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Yes.
Yeah. I've just had a few things going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is why we've just celebrated her first Thanksgiving in Vegas.
Yeah. And why we're deciding to podcast outside.
Yes. It's full of kids and, I don't know. It's more full of kids now.
It's more full of kids now. Yeah. Yeah. I know. The only thing I hated about Thanksgiving here, I didn't hate it, but I just felt bad, was my kids not having other little kids with them.
The little cousins.
Yes,
right.
like their little cousins.
Yeah.
That they love so much. And so I know I told Tony, I was like, I was going to rent a bounce house. And I'm like, who would I rent it for? Just my two?
And Jackson and Hayden and Tristan might join. I don't know.
I don't know. And then I almost bought one that Lindsay sent me. Our girlfriend sent me a bounce house, and I'm like, I could totally do this. But it was a size that I was like, I don't know, it might be too small. And then
you didn't ever think, gosh, what months of the year would I be able to use it? How worth it would it be?
No, because what I really am thinking, okay, seriously, if anyone wants like a 10 by 10 cute White Castle bounce house, Sam's Club, okay, they're $300. It's like $100 and something to rent them.
Yeah.
So if you use it 3 times, you've paid for it. But for us here, it's so dry. It hardly ever rains. Yes, it gets chilly at night and early in the morning, but like my kids could have used it all this weekend, all this week while they were out of school, actually, to be quite honest. They could have been in it the whole time. And then it's like, well, okay, birthdays, holidays. Besides like maybe a couple times in the summer, although they'd probably still freaking use it because they'd just jump in the pool and jump on the bouncy.
That's what I'm imagining is them, still wanting to use it in the dead of summer. And to me, I'm just like, oh gosh, I'm so old. And I would not want to do that. So yeah, but so maybe you should have gotten it.
I know. I know. I think if it was a little bit bigger, I would have. And it just wasn't. But I am still looking. So, someone DM us if you find out, because I am still looking and shopping around just because I think it would be useful and I can use it later for business purposes and stuff. So
yeah, that's true.
I think it
Because
would
that's
kind of work out.
another thing that P has done. You've started your own business.
I did. So yes, so I started my own business, which has been a journey in itself. I'm really trying to take my time. I said this last night when we went to dinner. Someone asked me, I won't put them on blast, but they asked me like, well, what are you doing? Are you working? Like, are you working? Because they know what I'm doing, but are you looking for other work? And I'm like, I've only been here for 4 months. And mind you, guys, like I have my own business that I started when I moved here, and I have a job. I have contracts. I am now privately contracted for large and small events. And so it's in itself, it's been a great transition for me. It's been a huge learning curve, and I'm still trying to figure it out, but I'm also still trying to take my time, because my main focus was to keep something and have something that I would still be able to do and work and have an income coming in, to where I felt like I was contributing still and having my own money and my own thing, because we all know I'm not the kind of person to ask for money. So it's just like, I got to be able to, be able to bring something in for that, but also know that I can grow on it. And I worked too hard where I was to just walk away with nothing, and start like ground zero. I had to have a little step, a little something. So, yes, I have my own business. I'm working on that. But my main focus was getting my kids acclimated, getting them into a routine. They love their school. They're doing gymnastics. They're doing soccer. They're finding their way. And I'm trying to find the balance of having them meet new friends and stay close to their old friends. And they really want to stay close to their old friends. And I really want them to. And I want to stay close to all my friends. So I get it. So it's just been trying to keep those relationships. I feel like that's been a huge part of these 4 months.
Yeah, because the other person also said you have had visitors like every weekend.
Yes. Apparently, some people like Vegas and want to come visit. There is literally always something to do. And I am telling you, it has nothing to even do with the strip. There is just always something to do. We were talking about this yesterday, Tony and I. And I said, and of course, this is not what my family probably wants to hear from me, but I love having Thanksgiving here. And he goes, yeah. And I said, yeah. I said, no matter who comes, whoever can come, and who can't. That doesn't even, not that it doesn't matter to me, because I want to see everyone, but I loved being able to like say, okay, everyone's here visiting. And in Clovis, we would host Thanksgiving. And then it was like, what's holiday-ish to do in Clovis? Well, you can go to Cindy Lane and drive through. When we had Santa Claus Lane, that was awesome, but they shut that down.
Yeah.
It's really kind of hard to find that weekend to do something to entertain guests coming from out of town. And Tony's family would come from out of town,
right.
So I always have that in my mind, like the Friday after Thanksgiving, what am I going to do with everyone to kind of, keep that? And there's like a million things to do here, there was no shortage of entertainment for people to come.
Yeah.
And not that it's always about that, because we do definitely have our downtime and just hanging out, but it's nice to be able to do something, especially with the kids, especially with my kids who didn't have the little kids. You know what I mean? So I just felt like, I don't know, it was kind of just something that I was like, I really like having it here, because I feel like there's always something to do.
Yeah.
We can always go try something, do something, see something. There's always a show or whatever. But I mean, we went ice skating the other night. And we all ice skated with our kids, and then the older people went and had like dinner and gambled and had drinks,
Right.
And
yeah,
that was
it was
perfect.
great. It was,
and it felt very like holiday wintry.
It did, absolutely. Yeah, And yeah, you're right. Back home, it's like walking Santa Claus Lane or something. You know what I mean? Like not a ton of.
And I think because I feel like with my kids, like we didn't really do a lot this week while they were on break.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nice to go and do something with them, you know?
Yeah.
I'm trying to like prep the house, and then people are coming in each day. So it's kind of hard to like really plan to have them time.
Yeah.
But if I can plan something for us all to do that's super fun outside of the house, then it was like a special holiday weekend for them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It was
So,
fun. It was good. Couple little spills on the ice for my family.
Yeah. So Ashley's family may not be the most what would be the word? Like flexible? Agile.
Yeah.
Agile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My husband and my son both fell.
Yes.
My husband to the point where he was like, I've got to get off the ice.
Yeah.
Like, not good. He is blaming it on a small child. So none of us were around to witness it. So we don't know if that's true or if he's just trying to not have us make fun of him like when we went roller skating. I don't know.
I know. And he's such an old man, even though he's not an old man. He is such an old man. And I feel bad that his body like breaks apart every time we go do something like that's active. But like, I'm just like, okay, well, we'll always do something active, but at the same time, like we aren't that old, and our kids want us to go do these things.
But I think where it's different is, we're not that old, but it's odd because also the active things that we're doing, we're like, hey, let's do things where people that are not that young, not the best ideas, right? Like, let's get on skates, let's get on ice skates. Those aren't the safest athletic,
but he's not even 50
type
yet.
things. He's not, which is what I also think is weird. I think it is weird that because I grew up skating all the time. We went to Roller Town all the time. I had skates at home. Like, skating was a normal thing.
Maybe
and
it's a girl thing and not a guy thing.
Okay, okay, maybe.
But I will say this. I think part of the problem too is, I mean, I'm assuming from what I know of Jason, he wasn't athletic growing up.
Yeah.
And so I think that could come into play.
Maybe.
You know, he wasn't athletic when he was younger. He also wasn't athletic as he got older. You know, like, I mean, I think about me, like I didn't play sports when I was younger. I wasn't an athlete. Everyone's always like, oh yeah, I know you guys all played soccer or whatever. And I'm like, no. Or you guys played sports? No, I didn't play sports. I didn't have that. But I became active as I got older. So maybe because he didn't, he just doesn't, his body, I don't know. But I mean, I feel like you were fine.
I mean, I'm not as comfortable as you. I am quite a bit larger than you.
Oh my gosh.
So I envision, well, one, like I said, I've never skated as heavy as I am now. And that is hard to stand on blades when the heavier you are, the harder it is.
There was a guy and he was a full grown adult with a helmet.
Oh yeah.
And he landed about 17 times. I mean, I was like, oh shit. Like, maybe he should get off the ice.
He should have.
Yeah.
Because I was concerned that he was going to injure himself.
Yes.
Because he ran into the wall a couple times. Yeah. I don't know. I definitely was not athletic and am not athletic. But I feel like even though I'm like more nervous, it's still kind of like riding a bike.
You. Yeah. Exactly.
Not nearly as easy as riding a bike.
Yeah, I think I would really like for Jason just to get like a little walking pad or something. I'm really concerned with how like his knees are giving out. You know, and I just feel like
you think that his knee gave out. That's what happened. It wasn't a kid.
Then he's like, oh, this shit's gonna be black and blue. I already know. And there's like nothing on his knee.
Yeah, it is just a pinkish spot. And he like
It
this
must,
morning,
it's probably bruised on the inside.
it has to be this morning. I know, because you can tell when he's walking or like when he goes to get up, he does hurt. And he goes, this morning when we're getting ready for church, he goes, oh. I'm like, oh, your hip. He goes, yeah, he's convinced this kid knocked him down. And when they did, he landed on his knee and his hip. But so he's like, is it bruised? I'm like, well, I don't know. I can't tell because you're sticking your finger where you think it's bruised. And then so he moves it. I'm like, no, I think it's just pink because you were just shoving your finger right there. Like I don't think he has a bruise on his hip.
I don't know. I mean,
his hip was hurting him.
I don't know. I mean, I just feel like I don't know how he's going to keep up with our travels as we get older. And I need him to be able to travel. I don't want him walking like my grandpa. And he's going to be like only 50. You know?
Yeah. Well,
got to keep him young.
Maybe once we're RFJ.
Okay, hold on. So I've talked a lot and I have so much more, unfortunately, not unfortunately, but it's just like, I just feel like there's a lot of parts to my life this last year. That's been very interesting. Ashley's been on her own journey as well this year. And
no, I haven't.
Yes, you have. And so Ashley, where have you been all year?
Are you talking about why I need to start being healthier?
Well, okay, hold on. So everyone doesn't know, which we'll have to go back and recap our summer trip, but we turned 40 this year.
We did.
We turned 40.
We turned 40.
And we decided that, so Tony, myself, and Ashley all turned 40. Like we said, Jason, the old man, he's much older than us. Not quite 50, though. So we decided we should take a trip for our 40th birthday. And it just kind of worked out to where May seemed to be the best time for us to all go. And so, plus the weather wasn't going to be icky in Cabo. And so we took a 40th trip to Cabo. First time we took our blonde hair, blue-eyed friend out to Mexico.
She's been to Mexico, the more ghetto part of Mexico, plenty of times.
Okay, not on international flight. First international flight.
It was my first time not.
Ashley's only been to where, like, the donkeys look like zebras.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we went to Cabo and had a blast. So great time. And it was totally like a 40th though, where we're like, okay, we can't be out till like, we're not going out to the town.
No.
We're going to just party it up at the resort, do some karaoke, and then our drunk asses are going back to bed.
Yes.
But had so much fun. Okay, so we went to Cabo. Your son finished his junior year, started his senior year.
Yeah. So that's what you're wanting me to talk about?
Well, where have you been for a year?
Well, I really feel like I've not been doing anything. I didn't move. That I did go to Cabo. I do have my senior who on a much better track than he was in the past.
Yes.
But we still have some improvements.
Well, the good thing is that, and for those who have listened before or may need to go back and listen to our previous episodes, he is with a great girl now. And that, I think, has also helped him kind of stay on track. Right. Not that he couldn't do it without her. I just think that it helps.
Oh, absolutely.
It helps. Because I think she encourages him to do well 100%. And to be good.
Yeah, absolutely. So we love her. She's amazing. She is 100% helpful in keeping him on track. I don't know that he would want to get in trouble if she weren't there, but I definitely think he could fall into peer pressure for sure.
Right.
If she weren't around. But she's not that kind of person, and so she would not accept that. So.
No,
luckily
I love it.
for me.
I love it.
Yes. So they're great, and she's sweet. Whole family loves her. He will be graduating in 6 months.
Yeesh.
7 months. How many is that? 6, 12.
6. Yeah. 6.
Yeah, 6 months. So, yeah, he's got that, and then I don't even know what to do with that, like how to make sure he becomes a useful part of society.
I know. We really have to talk about that and what, like, I know I'm like the auntie that he would avoid at Thanksgiving if he didn't see me more often or just already have heard me throughout many times
Yeah.
of me seeing him. But it's like, are you thinking? Are you thinking about the next thing?
Yeah.
Where are you?
Yes.
You know, it doesn't have to be college, but what is it? Because you got to do something.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know. I'm like super annoying when it comes to kids like that.
No, it's great because I mean, I'm sure it's still somewhat annoying, but it's not coming from me or Jason.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
That's completely obnoxious to hear from us, you
Right.
know? And as much as he's like, I'm sure with you, it's
Well,
totally
and it's
different.
like there's a line, right? So it's hard because I think like I get nervous about this even now, like with Tristan being in school, and she is doing phenomenal, like as far as her studies go and just staying on it, and she really enjoys her classes. But and I need her to like do well in school because I forgot to talk about her ticket. With her, I forgot to talk about her ticket with her. She got a ticket. This is like her first ticket that she got for not yielding.
I thought you were talking about her flight. I was like, she's already at the airport.
No,
That's a little
we
late.
wanted to talk to her. Like she wanted to talk to me about like her next steps and what she's supposed to do. She's all freaked out. She got a ticket, her first ticket. But anyway, so I need her to be a good driver, get good grades, be a good student, all those things. I also need it for, you know, her scholarships and her financial aid and all the other things, right? But you like worry, like you don't want to be like the pressure.
Yes.
But you need her to like, you also have to perform.
Right.
You know,
right.
you have to stay on the narrow.
That's a hard balance. For me, it's really hard because I just want to be like the
like get it done. I know
person,
but you can't.
But then one, my kids don't want to talk to me, and then also two, it's like I feel like I also kind of get into their head,
right?
And so it's like, but that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just like,
no,
you're
I get
not
it.
doing well because you're not doing stuff. Not because you're not smart, not because you're incapable. Right. It's because you're not doing stuff. That's what my kids' issues are.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, you know, make comments. Oh, well, I don't know how to do this. And I'm not smart enough to do this, stuff like that. And it's like, no, that's the problem.
Yeah.
You are smart enough to do it.
Yeah.
You're just not.
Yeah. Yeah.
So totally. I should have taken parenting classes before my kids got started.
I don't think that would have helped because I honestly feel like, first of all, there's no class that's going to like get you to understand your exact kid because even kid to kid is going to be different, you know? And like, there are things that I can say to Tristan that I cannot say to the other two. But there are things that even between the two littles, I can say to Danny that I can't say to Georgia. You know what I mean? Like their personalities. I mean, one would be bawling her eyes out, you know, and the other one would be like, okay, fine, you know.
Sorry, Mom.
Sorry. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. You know, like she would be like, the other one would be like, I just want to be a good daughter. You know, it's like you can't like I can't say the same thing to both kids. And It's fucking annoying. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
It really is. That you
Yes.
can't even talk to two kids the same fucking way that live under your house. You have to like still change your tone
Right.
in every way
Yeah.
you do things for each kid, because otherwise they don't either hear you, or they don't, or they take it the wrong way, or whatever. I know it's not for the weak.
Yeah.
And everybody says, it's like, oh, it gets easier. It probably gets so much easier when the kids get older because they're not as needy. No, they are very needy in so many different ways. So physically, you're not exhausted from staying up all night because they're not sleeping and waking up every 2 hours. But they're needy in like this. It's like heavy on your mind and your heart, because you see them going through these turmoil points in their life, or these major, like crossroads in their lives, even as like elementary school. You see the decisions and you see them like trying to figure life out, and you're like, oh God, please help my child to make the right decisions, and help me to help them make the right decisions, because it's not easy.
No, it's not. You're right. I like, and once you feel like you're out of it with one of them, I mean, luckily the gap between T and the littles is quite large, where you get a break at least between T and Georgia, on like the going through the hard teenage stuff, right?
Yes.
But you're gonna with Georgia and Danny, it's gonna be back to back. Like I felt like, oh gosh, like this year to me, I was like, this is gonna be a good year. Like Hayden's in his senior year. He can't mess up. There, like if he messes up, he's done, right? Yeah. So he can't mess up. He's gonna be good. That's gonna be handled. Jackson's going into his freshman year, so he has to be more serious. He's got to be on top of things. He has to handle his stuff, especially because he's in band, and you have to do well academically to be in band. And it's like, no, it's not. There's like other things that, Jackson had been struggling with. Like, I think, I don't know, I had talked about therapy and that type of thing, and I had, right? With Jax.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, I forget. But where he was just having a hard time. Like, I don't know that he like knew how to process, or he just seemed like he was down. He was really, really down. And now he seems like he's in a better place, but when it comes to school stuff, it's like we had a full on crying session the other night. And it's like
both
what?
Of you are crying?
No, just him. And it's like, what the heck is going on? Like, how this was supposed to be my, like, this is my easy year, because I've had to be on Hayden so much for so long. And even though Jackson's grades aren't always the best, like he always is okay. Like to where I'm okay with it. And this year I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. I just don't understand.
Well, I think that he's going through, I mean, he's obviously going through something. We know that. Yeah. But I think that I think it's puberty in a sense of like the emotions part of it. Yeah. And like not understanding what your body and your mind and your feelings all are. And then you cap that with like, you're just, I mean, there's also your genetics and your things that you kind of inherit from your family and your people, and the like way you think that you should probably react to something, but then that's not actually how you feel on the inside. So then you're like it's almost your own battle. I think that it's gotta be a bit normal. I feel like I went through so much with T for so long. I can't even remember when it started and when it ended.
Yeah.
I mean, it really hasn't ended, but you know, it's, I would,
oh,
it's so much better.
night and day.
So
Yes,
much better.
Absolutely.
There's always going to be things, and we're learning at this point in her life where she stands, where I stand, where those boundaries are between the two of us, and the crossover. So it's still a battle, but nothing compared to where we were.
Yeah.
So it's a lot.
Yeah.
It sucks.
I
don't have boys, so I don't know.
I know, which either. I think at times I think it's a lot easier with boys because they do have hormones, but it's a lot less like chaotic, I feel like, right? Like I feel like as young girls, it's like this all the time, right? Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of like study with boys, and then it's wild. Like there's less chaos, I feel, in that way. Yeah. But then it's also like I don't think she necessarily was this way, but I feel like for a lot of girls, we're very willing to talk about what's bothering us. Yeah. Like we're
sharers normally.
We might be a psycho.
Yeah.
Like having a mental breakdown or whatever. And Hayden was better than Jackson. Hayden's not very great at talking about stuff when he's going through stuff though. But Jackson is just like he does not want to talk at all. Like he doesn't want to talk about it. If he's going to talk about it, he doesn't want to talk about it with me and Jason. It's like he is very different. And after our conversation with him and his little breakdown, I told Jason, he went upstairs and I looked at Jason, I was like, that's you. Because I would never be the person that's like, I don't want to talk about it. I'm like, no, like, I'm like trying to draw it out of him. Like, why don't you want to talk about it to us? Do you feel like we're too hard on you? Do you feel like we judge you? Do you feel like, why don't you want to share this stuff with us? Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Yeah. Like, can you tell me why did it? No, it's just, but Jason is that. Jason is an avoider when it comes to like any type of emotional type conversation. He's an avoider. And I feel like that's what Jackson does. Anything that is not going to be easy to discuss, he wants to avoid. Yeah. And it's like, you can't do that. Yeah. So I don't know.
I don't know. Jeez. Well, like I said, I don't have boys, so I feel like it's on even on a different level than girls, because I feel like they usually are more closed off like that, you know. Yeah. We're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, I want to talk to you about your other journey that you've started.
Okay.
40 going on crazy.
The journey hasn't started.
It started for me already. We'll be right back. Segment music by Callie Grace. For more of Callie Grace's hits, follow Callie Grace on iTunes and Spotify today. Hey guys, we're back.
We are back.
And it's getting cold.
It is getting cold.
Okay, before the break, which by the way, I look like a marshmallow on camera right now. But I wanted to tell you guys that we are not sponsored by Gin and Juice by Dre and Snoop. However, I do want to show everyone these are really delicious seltzers. I really like them, and I'm not like a gin person. It's not something that I would order if I was going out to eat and having a drink, like a
I'm
gin.
not a gin person either,
but
and I like them also.
They're really good.
They're very
I just wanted to throw that out there for anyone who's looking for a little different drink. Okay, so before the break, we were talking about Ashley's journey this last year, and a journey I really want to talk about.
She's such a jerk, you guys.
Is that no? I mean, it's good. You turned 40, and I think you may have went a little crazy. You're going a little crazy on us.
I don't think I'm going crazy.
But you need a foil hat at this point.
That's what they always say about the people that are saying the right stuff and doing the right things.
Okay, so Ash has really been on this sending.
I have not made any changes.
No, you have not. You have not.
I am being fat and unhealthy as all get out. However, I am researching some things to make some changes in my life.
Okay.
Priscilla just wants to make fun of me.
Okay, no, but I love seeing like funny reels, and
I think it's important that you know things about your health.
But I feel like I am fully aware that there are so many bad things in our product.
Are you aware of all of the ones that I send you? You're aware that that's the situation with them?
I mean, some of them, yes, some of them, no. But I also feel like I really try to do most things in my life in moderation, especially when it comes to food and eating. So if I have something that's bad, I really try to not have it all the time, but I will have it. I try to do those things. I think you're a little on overload with the data that's coming through, and your computer chip might give out soon.
It's not going to give out. Unfortunately.
Okay, so I don't know if everyone is aware of the perimenopause. I feel like most women are. Like, they've heard the term perimenopause, right? It's kind of a newer term.
I don't think I've ever heard about it until I listened to a podcast about it.
It's kind of a newer term.
Sorry, I'm going to open this. Just ignore it, guys.
I feel like that started what turned you on a spiral.
Yes, you are absolutely correct. Okay. That's absolutely
So why don't you share with our listeners your perimenopause journey that you've been on?
Cool. It's not a journey that I've been on. It's just stuff that I have been looking into because I listened to a podcast about perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause, and it has a lot of really good information that I think if you listen to it, you would be like, I had no idea about that, because there's so much information in there, things that they don't really talk about with us. There's almost zero research that's done on women, menopause, perimenopause, any of that kind of stuff. So, like how it's impacting our body, there's hardly any research that's done in that. Did you know that baby aspirin, you know how they start telling people of a certain age to take it for their heart, they'll prescribe statins and stuff like that for, to avoid a heart attack and that kind of thing. Did you know that statins don't work at all for women?
I did.
But they prescribe them to you?
I did know that it does not work on women.
Priscilla got distracted. Her handsome husband walked by and she was just excited.
So,
okay, but stuff like that. Aspirin does nothing.
Yeah. Just like I do know, like that's why they say like there's like such a high number of women who die of heart attacks, and there really isn't a lot of.
They really don't care about it.
They really don't put it out there a lot. Like it's not a very big like. Like there should always be a strong voice for breast cancer awareness, and these types of things, but there isn't, and it's a little shocking how often it happens in women. Heart attacks happen in women, and there isn't that same approach of like this is something that can happen to you without you realizing it's even happening. I think that's the scariest part for me.
And I think they've gotten a lot better, you know, like they do a lot of like the red dress stuff. Like that stuff is more recent and that kind of thing. And I think that's great. But I also think the fact that they still prescribe medications to women that do nothing to help them, and women are taking these medications assuming that they're doing things that are going to be preventative and it's going to do nothing for you. One, first of all, why are we even taking the dang medication? Like I
don't
take a lot of medication, and I would prefer to not take medication. I don't need any additional medication. And
why are they prescribing the medication for menopause, you're saying?
No, not for menopause. For women, if you say that you are at risk of heart attack or something like that, or you start having different things like that, they will start prescribing you these same medications that they prescribe to men, even though they do nothing for us. And it's like, why is there no research to figure out what would help us? Like, why? Why none of that? Did you know that it's something insane? Like, it's either, I want to say like 60 or 70% of women that have gone through menopause, if you have a bone break, like you break your hip or something like that, you will die in the first year.
No, I did not.
And that our hormones are like, obviously our hormones are going down, our bone density is going down. We need to be doing a lot of stuff. You're great. I mean, you work out so much, you're fine. But I mean, I don't work out, and no one's telling me up until this podcast, like, well, if you want to not break a bone, if you want to have stronger bones, I don't need to take a calcium pill. I need to do resistance workouts. I have to change my whole life, guys. My whole entire life. I do. I'm going to go talk with Priscilla likes to call RFK Jr. RFJK Jr.
RFJK Jr. told her that she has she's got to throw her whole fucking
I need to throw my
out.
whole kitchen away.
Which,
I gotta change my life.
Ashley, haven't we all been telling you to throw your whole kitchen out for a long time?
Yeah, but just because it makes you fat, I mean, like you said, moderation. But I wasn't aware of all this stuff that these things in it are doing to us.
Okay, but I feel like it's not just that it makes you fat. It's that it's not good for you. Like, isn't that an all around?
Being fat isn't good for you, right?
Right.
But it's the stuff that's in it. It's not even that, like, okay, well, it'll make you gain weight. It's really the stuff that's in it is so bad for your insides. That kind of stuff. And
so,
I don't know that kind of stuff.
Some people different, I guess.
For me, it's like, well, I'm gonna be fat.
I just feel like I know product that's not good for you, not good for my children, not good for people. And look, I don't buy. Actually, right now we have chips in the house, which we never have chips in the house. They're the Hawaiian kettle baked whatever chips, because I knew we were going to have so many people here, and I just was like, if someone just wants a bag of chips while we are in between things, like whatever, let's just get them and put them in the house. But I don't ever buy
there were
chips.
Individual chips like that?
Yeah. They're in the garage.
Jr. must have gotten in touch with her.
But I don't buy chips. I do buy the girls cereal because they love cereal. It's not the healthiest cereal, but it's Cheerios. But it's not the worst cereal. No, it's either. Cheerios. And I do, there are things that I treat them to, they can have sometimes throughout their time. But there's things like Oreos and Ho-Hos and Chips Ahoy and things that I don't put in my house. Mm-hmm. It's not just because I feel like they're going to make my kid fat, but it's because like, these are just not good for you. Like, this isn't good food. This is not good food for you to have. Someone said this to me a long time ago, and it's very true. And don't get me wrong. I still have to go in to get a few things, but they said, if you look at a grocery store, you really should be shopping on the outside perimeter, right? Because everything in the middle is all processed.
Yeah.
And it's all the ship foods.
Yep.
It's the outside of the store that you really want to shop and buy your stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you think about it, what do you have on the outside of the grocery store? What is aligned in the grocery store? It's veggies, it's meat, it's seafood, it's deli, it's dairy, which dairy is not good for you either. Dairy is very bad. And I really think that dairy hits women much harder than it does men.
I think you're right.
I think it really does. I feel like when I go on like a Whole30 cleanse and I take dairy, all cheeses out of my diet,
it makes me so sad.
It makes me so sad because I love cheese, but it is a different, it feels so different.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good for you. But it's hard. But again, moderation. Now I'm so looking forward to someone coming in to office and who can overlook the ingredients and really crack down to see what's going on and see if they can make a difference in the processed foods that we are receiving in our country. I think it's going to be fantastic if it happens, if anything comes of it. Right. I think it would be great. I don't want anyone to be, and I'm not blaming any party for it. I'm just saying I don't want any American, anyone, but any American in this country to be eating shittier food than any other country.
Right.
Like,
but you know, the sucky thing is, so, and
when people say that, it makes me so sad. Like when people say like, when you go to Italy or you go to, all these places and you eat their food, it's not processed so you can eat and you don't even like gain anything.
Right.
You're just like eating clean, and it's like, it's so bizarre that we have that here, because we have fresh, like we have what am I talking about? We have farmers. We have all this fresh product. We have the sea near us, at least us West Coast,
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm still considered West Coast. I mean, we still can get food from anywhere in the world so quickly like that, but our thinking about like our produce and our gardens that we do and our herbs that we can grow and everything from your backyard to big fields.
Yeah.
And the fact that we still can't cleanse our food is disturbing.
It is. Because
so I will give you that, but it has been a whole process with you.
I know. You know why? Because I'm learning a lot and I'm trying to figure a lot of stuff out. And even moderation, like you say, moderation, there are so many things that you're looking at it and you're thinking that, okay, this isn't that bad, but it has stuff like seed oils in it, which is not good. Like so even though it's not a horrible thing, it's still not good what is being put into you, even though it's not a McDonald's cheeseburger. You know what I mean? So it's like, even in moderation, we're still exposed to so much stuff because it's in everything.
So where and when do you start? Because you kind of, I mean, this has been a few months of a conversation with you where, I mean, you guys, she has like hit us all very hard, all of our friends, with all of her craziness and her ideas. And I believe in some of the things that she's saying, but it's like, well, when does, what do you, I don't even know. What are you going to eat? What are you going to do?
I'm not going to be able to have any of this stuff. It's going to be sad. Nobody's going to want to be around me.
No gin and juice.
No gin and juice. But, I mean...
What if your vodka comes from a potato?
In our defense, this doesn't necessarily say, like, a whole lot of stuff that's in here that's horrible for you.
No.
No, I'm just kidding. I won't be able to. But, honestly, it's very sad. It's going to be a lot of raw food. That's what it's going to have to be. Because everything has preservatives in it. Mm-hmm. And they're so bad for us. And yeah, I know I should have known that, because like, why would it be good for you? But it's not anything I've ever thought about. It, like, you get a can of peanut butter. It's like, okay, here's peanut butter. No, there's crap in it, and it's like, it's just a disaster. Like, you think you're being healthy, and no, it's crap. So there's always seed oils in peanut butter, unless it's just straight peanuts. There's always seed oil. So it sucks.
So when does your next phase of your journey begin?
By the end of this month.
Really? First of the year.
Hopefully before then, but by the end of the month for sure. I have a lot of things to have to figure out, because it's not like back in the old days where you just have everything on, you know, your land or your neighbor's land, and you're trading this for that or whatever, you know what I mean?
So you're going to have to cook more than eggs and pancakes.
Or I just eat carrots all day. Dr. Georgia did prescribe me 10 carrots.
She did. I'm going
a
to
day
say you're
once a
going to
week,
eat some
so-
protein in your body.
She specifically said carrots. She gave me no other things. And see, and that's another thing that's super hard for me. I'm not a big protein person, but you have to have protein, you know? So there's a lot of stuff I got to figure out with that too. It's stupid. It's dumb, you guys. I know. I'm an idiot.
No.
Should have had my life figured out well before now. But
It's not that you're dumb. It's just, it's like, it's health taken to another level that I guess I don't know enough about, that I don't understand. Like, I don't understand. I just think it sounds a little foil hatty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I totally get. I understand 100%. I listen to way too many like health podcasts and things like that.
But everyone listening should not stop listening to podcasts. That's us.
No. and here's the thing. Not everyone is, you know how I am. I'm either in or I'm out. Like if I can't have something, I cannot have something.
Yes.
Like, and if I'm like, I get OCD about stuff.
You do.
I continue on and like cannot stop. And that's how I am. So I think most people can hear these things and go like, oh, well, let me make this change. Whereas I'm like, I've got to change my whole entire life. Everything's got to change. Probably.
How do you think the rest of your family will do with this journey that you're going on?
Not well.
Have you talked to them about it?
Yes. Yep.
And what do they say?
Nothing, but I have to tell you, I remember when I did Wheat Belly.
Yes.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to have the whole family do it, because I know we eat crap stuff. I didn't know all about the stuff that I know now, right? But I knew it wasn't good. I didn't know how it was affecting us aside from getting fat, which that sucks, whatever. Not like whatever. It's not a good thing, but it's not everything else that I've found out. Anywho, so I told the boys, like, okay, we're gonna do this. I think Jackson had to have been in maybe second or third grade.
Did he start crying?
He cried
because
Molly also offered to take the kids to CVS, and Jackson wanted chips, and chips were not allowed. And he freaking cried. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Now, he is a bit older and can understand things a bit better. And I think can handle self-control a bit more.
Do you think they're not saying anything because they're on board, or do you think they're not saying anything because they're hoping you're not going to go through with it?
Probably hoping I won't go through with it. And
so if you do, what do you think?
Well, so obviously there's
going to be nothing in the house.
Yeah. Which, to be quite honest, that's fine. I don't think that there should be. I think that they are banking on the fact that even when I'm trying to lose weight and diet and eat better, Jason brings crap. into the house.
Yes.
And Jason will bring the crap into the house.
Yes, we've talked about that. He's a problem.
He is and I think he will have a hard time with it.
Yeah.
And like, I don't mean to sound mean, or I don't know how this will come off, but it's not in a negative way. Like, Jason's gone a lot. He travels a lot for work. When he's out of town, would I prefer that he be able to do what I'm going to be doing? Yes, of course. Is it possible? There's probably only a few options for him. You know, he's on the road a lot. So probably not a ton. Am I going to be mad at him if he is eating however the F he wants? No. Like, I fully expect him to eat however he wants to. But it's just one of those things that when he's at home, I need him
to be on board with everything.
Yes.
Well, I think that it's going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to keep going with this. We're not done with this. We're not done with this topic even, because there's so many layers of it.
You're not even done with your topic.
I know. But we just wanted to come back because we're here in person. We are going to continue to do our podcast from afar.
Yes.
So
from using 2 screens.
From Cali to Las Vegas. That's like part of my Peloton name, I think. It's like Cali to LV. We're going to keep trying to keep you guys up to date. We will try to get you guys all caught up on everything that's happened this last year. We have some, we definitely are going to have some guests on this year.
Yes.
And,
super excited.
And really get, the ball rolling. So thank you guys for listening.
Also, if there are specific things that.
Okay, guys, as you can tell, we are in different clothes, different locations. We lost battery last recording, so we didn't get to finish. What I was trying to say is, if there's anything that you feel like you have a question about, that maybe, P explained stuff, it didn't get quite answered, to let us know so that we can make sure we address that.
Yep. DM us, let us know. We will get our Instagram and Facebook page back and running and in action. And so we look forward to hearing from everyone. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.